to the nation.
Okay, this was opened up as a counterintelligence investigation, right?
Correct.
And we know the Russians were screwing around with the Democrats, right? That's one of the concerns.
Correct.
It was the Russians who acted in the DNC.
Correct.
Got their emails.
Correct.
So it's okay for everybody to be concerned. What are the Russians up to? I get that. It's okay to look at what's the standard to start one of these things?
There are two types of investigations. Both of them have relatively low thresholds, as we point out here, for predication.
Okay. So let's assume for a moment that relatively low threshold was met. Would it be fair to say that if you stop there and looking at your report, you're making a mistake?
You would be making a mistake. There is 400 pages here for a reason.
There's a mountain of misconduct. Please don't ignore it. So my point is, if this is a counterintelligence investigation, who are they trying to protect? Who should they be trying to protect?
Well, if it's the threat outlined in the friendly foreign government information, you would be looking to protect the election process,
right?
Which would include
the candidate,
the campaign, the candidate, and the American people.
Okay, so did they ever brief Hillary Clinton about efforts to foreign influences involving her campaign? Do you know?
I've heard that, but I don't know for a fact.
They did. Good for them. And they stopped it. Was there ever a defensive briefing given by the FBI, the Department of Justice, to Donald Trump about the concerns?
There was not.
What would you call a counterintelligence investigation that never had a protective element?
I'm not sure. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, if without eventually trying to protect the entity being influenced, is it legitimate?
It would depend on each fact and circumstance.
Here's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
If you're opening up a counterintelligence investigation to protect somebody, you should do it. Did they ever try to protect Donald Trump from foreign influence?
They did not brief him, and we lay out on page 55.
As a matter of fact, when they went in and gave a vanilla briefing, the Russians are out there, you better beware. Didn't they have an FBI agent do a 302 on the defensive briefing itself?
They sent one of the supervisory agents from the Crossfire Hurricane team to the briefing, and that agent prepared a report to the file of the briefing.
About what Trump said?
About what Mr. Trump said and what Mr. Flynn said.
Okay, so when we get defensively briefed tomorrow, would it be okay for FBI agents to open up 302s on what we said?
We have very significant concerns about that, and I would note that in Director Wray's response, he underlined that that would not occur going forward.
To those who can set aside how I feel about Trump for a minute, under the guise of protecting the campaign from Russian influence, they never lift a finger to protect the campaign. Every time they had information that the people they suspected were working for the Russians, it went the other way, and they kept going. When they did generically brief candidate Trump, they sent an FBI agent in to do a 302. If this doesn't bother you, you hate Trump way too much. Was that FBI agent spying on Donald Trump when he went in there?
It was a pretext meeting that I'm not going to, the process by which they have to do these meetings.
If you don't have a foundation for a warrant and you continue, I'm sorry, go ahead. Do you need to say anything else?
I'm sorry.
There's no, okay.
The incident, the event, the meeting was a briefing, and the FBI considered and decided to send that agent there to do the briefing. So the agent was actually doing the briefing, but also using it for the purpose of investigation.
Okay, now I hope that doesn't happen to us tomorrow. I'll be really pissed if it does.